Okay, the project today requires us to do an accessibility evaluation of a project that we have done with students. This one I actually just developed for a group of first graders, and the first time I introduced it with them was last week, so it was nice to be able to revisit this and look at it from a different lens. A lot of the accessibility things that we read about and a lot of the universal design features are very applicable for younger students, I find. Anyway, from the Online Accessibility Handbook, Web Presence, and you'll notice that some of these things overlap with regard to web presence and PowerPoint recommendations. Positives overall, the headings were properly formatted to structure a page, and using a template in PowerPoint allows you to do that. Again, color, there was sufficient contrast. I do believe that PowerPoint, the template, guides you in that. From the image alternate text, there's two ways to look at it. One way that I viewed it was that a lot of the images on the PowerPoint slides are labeled in a sense with text, or they're defined by the text included on the slide. But I believe that and I recall this from Moodle. Every time I used to import an image into Moodle, it would give you the opportunity to add text to it, and I always did. And that makes sense to me now, because I gather if there's a machine that's reading whatever is on the screen, by adding that extra layer of text embedded within the image itself, it allows someone who's using that type of machine to see a textual representation of whatever that image is, in addition to whatever that machine might be doing to read that to the audience, to the learner. So I didn't do that, but I believe that in this instance anyway, that there is alternate text within the body of the PowerPoint slide itself, and the navigation is clear and consistent. Few things I could add is the outline view. I could develop the outline first for the presentation and then add the text, and that's interesting because I've never necessarily developed it from an outline perspective. I've relied kind of on my own ability to structure the pieces, but it would be interesting to develop that outline first and then go back and add the pictures. I kind of do it piecemeal. I do, one screen at a time. So that would be a way. I hadn't thought of it before. So this is useful to go back and do the complete outline first, and then to go build the slide from there. I could add reading order so that if there is a machine readable need, I know that as it's reading my slide, my visuals from the slide to my student, to my learner, that they are in the correct order. And then if not, I could be sure to change the order of how the machine reads it. Definitely add alternate text. And again, some of these things were mentioned above. The things I did do, the slide layout was clean. The images, I think there's a nice complement between the images, the text, and the visuals. And I did include a meaningful description for the destination of my hyperlinks. I had something like click here rather than just like a URL hyperlink. So from the universal design perspective, some things that I think there's a nice balance between the size of the text and the images. I think there's good contrast between the background with the text. I do think color was used for emphasis. In addition to color, I also used things like italics and bold and whatnot. I'm very conscientious about that. There was no auditory within the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint does not deal with the relationships between objects. That had to do with, for a visually impaired person, if there were some sort of a a graph in there where where color was used to define the meaning of the content, that you would do that. So this PowerPoint didn't deal with that. Now, there is no text-to-speech available within my PowerPoint, but text-to-speech is available via the online dictionary, which is part of the activity. It would be useful, I believe, to add this for students who might need text-to-speech for the introduction and the directions, which is what I believe the PowerPoint does for the students. Spanish translation is available as part of the online dictionary activity. That would be something to add again, so that my language learners would be able to understand what it is they're looking at. I could make an explicit link between the information provided in the text with the same information. Oh, excuse me, my highlight isn't here. The entry slide is labeled and the image is labeled. The guide word, the image of the guide word is labeled. So I did actually do a little bit of that. As far as connecting the gray cells with prior knowledge, that was done with ABC order, which is mentioned here. Each slide, in my opinion, is an additional layer for understanding. So I do believe every slide scaffolds to the last one. I believe that was my intention. With not only the print presentation, but also in describing the online version. Any highlighted patterns or critical features would be added as part of the delivery of the instruction. So if I were talking through this, that's where I would add that. Stuff is definitely chunked. My content is definitely chunked. And practice steps will be placed within the delivery of the lesson. So just to give you an idea of the whole thing, and there's that click here to access. So, yep, there she goes.